Hello, this is LJ Haydorn again, talking about some of the basic necessities of tabletop role-playing games. In particular this time, I will be discussing some of just the very, very simple things that you will need to play tabletop role-playing games. A pen, a pencil, you will need paper of some sort. Totally up to you what you want for paper-wise. My recommendation is either having blank sheets of paper, I mean just like printer paper, or having grid paper. So now this is one of the simplest ways to do some tabletop role-playing. And why this paper and pencils and pens? Well, first off, pencils and pens you need to fill out paper as far as your character sheets, and that's covered in another segment. But as the person running the game, you need to draw maps out ahead of time, or at least it helps to draw maps out ahead of time. And you can do that one of two ways. You can either use the grid paper, and you'll find that all sorts of office stores and grocery stores usually have grid paper. And the game systems, they all use or a lot of them use a movement scale. Like for your turn, you can only move so many spaces. And that's true on a lot of board games. When you play board games, they're saying, oh, you got to roll the dice to see how far you move on Candyland or something like that. Well, tabletop board games, a lot of them like to be, you don't have to, are visually based. And people just want to know how far can I move? How far is that guy I want to get to, or that town, or the car to get away, or the wagon with all the gold in it, or the dragon who's sleeping. How long is it going to take me to get there and sneak up and get him? So there's a variety of options. If you use a standard paper, you can just draw a simple map and just say this represents trees, and this represents a stream, this represents a building, let me show you that, how big it is, and you can say, okay, this X represents you. I'm not too crazy about drawing it out like that on a standard sheet of paper. I like a little more detail, but again, we're talking the basics. A very extreme, or very minimal look at how to play something on the game. Because people, a lot of times, they like to visually see what it is that the particular encounter area, if they're going to fight somebody or they're searching an office, how's that office laid out? And, oh, I want to search that bookshelf or that desk or the lamp, or so it depends on your game. Now, you can take a standard sheet of paper sometimes and draw with a ruler and a pencil or pen, draw 1-inch grid squares. So every inch on the paper, you just put a little niche, a little mark there at the top and the bottom, or the left and right sides, and then draw a straight line all the way across, so you make a big grid. And I've seen a lot of people do that, especially if they want to make a bigger map. They'll take those pieces of paper together and just kind of lay them out side by side, or tape them together. So you might need a little clear invisible tape there. The grid system. Now, most grid paper, the grids don't tend to be very big. So you may want to say that multiple grids equals a certain size. In the games, a lot of the games will give increments of 5 feet, but not every game. I mean, some of them are drastically different, but increments of 5 feet. So if you're drawing on a big sheet of paper and you draw the lines out, and each inch is 5 feet, that's one thing. If you're drawing on a smaller piece of grid paper, then you may want to consider that maybe five squares are 1 foot. Are 5 feet. Each square is a foot. So that just gives a little more depth to your game. But it helps make some pictures ahead of time. Because if you start drawing it at the table when you're playing, you may find out that it's eating up a little of your time. People get bored and they start looking at their phones or reading books or looking at their Kindle. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things that distract them. And as the person running the game, you want to make as little time for them to be distracted by other things and being engrossed into your world. So, totally up to you. But that would be an introductory thing for you as the person running the game, the storyteller, the game master, the dungeon master, whatever you want to call it, to do. Use those simple things. So, that being said, I'm going to cover a little more advanced thing as well on this one too. You don't have to do this. This is the next level up type of thing. There's some things, some companies create these wonderful vinyl maps, and they have these grids already pre-drawn on there for them, and they're already an inch by an inch squares, so it's perfect for gaming. It's this one's large. They come in various sizes. Different companies make them. You don't need one to play the game. It's just, as I've gone and played over the years, I decided I want to invest more into it and have a little more fun for me and my players. So I can just, this particular one, I roll it up, but it uses wet erase markers, so I draw on it and I clean it off after every game, or they're trying to clean it off after every game. This one, there was something on it still. So, but when you do it on paper, once you draw it, it's there. You can't erase it unless it's in pencil. Even then, it kind of leaves little lines in there. So, expect that you're going to use a lot of paper if you do it that way. If you do it this way, I've had this one for, I don't know, 20 some years, and it's come in very handy. I'm sure it saved me a bundle on doing it on paper. But that's that. Again, pen and paper, pencil and paper, or in this particular case, what I use, and some wet erase markers. Make sure you get the correct markers. Make sure you look at your manufacturer and what they recommend if you happen to go this route, because you don't want to do permanent. You do permanent, it's exactly what it sounds like, permanent. And if you use something other than what they tell you to use on it, such as dry erase, you may find out it's permanent too. You don't want to do that, because these things aren't like super cheap. A lot of these things can run you, say, $40, and you would hate to mark on it and then realize you used it once and they went $40. So, have a good one. Listen to some more for some more helpful, informative tips on what the heck tabletop role-playing is. Have a good one.